Welcome to join our Thursday tea gathering. And welcome there on Instagram as well. You can find the link to this live Zoom on my bio if you want to join. So here in today's Thursday gathering, I have an exciting topic, at least what I hear a lot that people want. And that's why I wanted to share. Let me just pin myself here. Okay. Feel free to use the chat, type any questions, or unmute yourself and share your doubts or worries, or ask any questions. This Thursday tea gathering is meant for business leaders, starting those who want to start their businesses or grow and scale their businesses, also leaders, any professionals who want to add time and location freedom in your life and in your work. And that's what I want to discuss you today, because that's what I hear from many people, wanting to add time and location freedom, to have also financial freedom and abundance, time for your interests, your hobbies, for traveling, for your relationships, for your family. And how can you then put the work and your life together so that it's not the work maybe saying how you should use your time, but being aware of what are your priorities, what are your needs, and how you can integrate your personal life and professional life together. And this is what I call freedom lifestyle. I would like to hear your thoughts. What comes to your mind when you hear freedom lifestyle? But what it really means for me is that you're managing your time, your energy, where you are, where you want to spend, and what you want to spend your time with. And like I mentioned, this is what often comes up when I talk to new professionals, experts in their fields, those who are thinking of maybe the next career step and how to have more time, location, and financial freedom in their life. Also, business leaders, entrepreneurs who are building their businesses and maybe dedicating a lot of time into that. So how you can actually integrate and have time for your other priorities as well, while you're building a successful, profitable online business or service business, whether you want to be local or online and do it remotely. I help both, but online, of course, is today in an area that I recommend anyone to use, because that gives a lot of possibilities. I just had an interesting conversation yesterday about this with a friend, and just enabling her to see the possibilities of an online world, especially if that's something new. And these can go hand in hand as well, doing local, but how you can use the online and how you can use the possibilities of working remotely, connecting with people around the world. That's been really enriching my life the past few years now. So that's why I wanted to share you my thoughts. Maybe my best insights, how I've done or how I've helped others to increase time and location freedom. So I have 3 points and some examples, and I would love to hear your thoughts, your comments. So put those in the chat. And of course, if you have any burning questions about, let's say, nomadic lifestyle. So I'm from Finland originally. Now we are staying in North Italy. There's a beautiful day here in Torino. we are here because my husband wants to learn Italian. So what's the best way then to actually be in Italy? And since I can take my devices, why is the live getting paused? Okay, we're back. How I can bring my devices, have mics and cameras and laptops with me to connect with you from around the world where we are. And this is my first point, to know what you want. And you could think that, oh, that's so easy, I know what I want. But I hear so often people being lost of what they want. They might know what they don't want, and especially based on some experiences, past experiences, like, okay, I don't want to continue this. But then when you start to map out different options, it's just, there's like a million options. It's a web. And I've been there a couple of years ago when I was planning my career and what I want to do in order for me to move to London and be with my current husband. That was not easy. And I know I'm not the only one, because just today in a coaching session, I had this skilled professional who had burned out, and she knew that she wants to make drastic changes in her life. Especially we looked at her career, so what she wants to do next. And she had like so many options from here to this end, being a IT professional and having interest in a design and creative field, and how to put that together. And what she also mentioned is wanting to have multiple sources of income, so that she's not only relying on one job. So those are her needs, those are her priorities, what she wants. But like we were mapping out, she was saying that she's kind of like, everything is getting so confused in her brain because she has so many ideas of what to do. I recommend you to start journaling, putting all those ideas down. That's what I was doing when I was like feeling overwhelmed and stressed what to do in my career. So I was thinking like, okay, what is exciting for me? Especially in terms of career, what is exciting for me? What are my skills? I knew that I wanted to work with people. And in my previous marketing career, what was most rewarding for me was to connect people. So I was doing marketing from all the digital channels to live events, how to have those different connection points and touch points with our potential clients and customers. So I was thinking like, okay, what is it in my current profession and in my work that I truly enjoy? And that's a great place to start, but it can also be a little like narrow focus, especially when you might want to think about different fields and transitioning to something new. But that's a great place to start, kind of mapping out what you want. And I remember I was thinking like, well, for me, the most rewarding was the event. And how so? Well, I got a lot of feedback. It was the direct feedback in the events, what the participants who came got value out of it. They were connecting with others in the field that was event industry. And also I was hosting, I had some speakers, inspiring speakers, bringing a lot of trending and new topics for them to have new knowledge, new ideas, how to take that into their work. So I loved most every part of it. It was complex. I could to use my creativity, connecting people, facilitate their learning, how they can thrive in their work. And so when I was thinking like, okay, that's something that was very rewarding, not only for me, but also I got the validation and good feedback from it. So I think that didn't hurt as well. So that's the other thing. You can also think about who comes to ask for your help and what kind of help they are asking you from. Like, because that's a good indicator of what you're good at when people come and ask your support with something. So that might be an area you want to explore a little further as well. Make a new list of that. Because that gives you an idea, maybe some ideas that you haven't thought of before. But when you start looking at like, for example, I remember previously people came to me with different relationship advice or something like that, for example. So those could be some areas that you want to think about whether you want to bring that more into your professional life as well. But now I would say just like the first thing is just like knowing what you want and putting all those ideas down, that what do you want to include in your life. So not only in your career, because some interest and skills and passions you can also explore in your professional life, personal life, and not only professional. So you can be part of different communities, and through your hobbies or something like that, you can also explore those passions and interest. I'm gonna show you my cute shirt that I got from Mexico. So it's a lovely 1st of June. So feeling very summery. So I want to show you my beautiful Mexican flowers here. Okay. So knowing what you want, do you have some questions around that? What comes to your mind? Maybe you can type in the chat, like, what are your best priorities, top priorities at the moment? Like I mentioned, I hear often when my clients come to me that what they know that they don't want, but they are confused about what they want because either they're not sure or they have too many options. Like this client today had just like too many options that they were so broad. Another thing is what I like to think about is that what kind of transformation or emotion or what do you want to evoke or change in the people who would work with you or be in contact with you or use your products or use your services. So looking at the bigger purpose and what you're passionate about. For example, for me is that I want to help those ambitious women and also men, but especially women who want to have that time and location and financial freedom in their life, running their online businesses. So how can they pivot, create that? Full-time or part-time? Like I mentioned, many want multiple sources of income. So sometimes it means that you are employed and maybe working less hours, or you do freelance contractor work while you would have your own business online. That can be passive income if it's courses, so you can host different trainings. So I help coaches, consultants, creative professionals, therapists, wellness practitioners, kind of those in the service industry, to think about like what could be those avenues for them that excite them and who are those ideal clients for them, whether they are in-house, in your business, how are they in your network? There can be many, but if you're starting, I do advise to start with one service proposal to one audience and start leveraging from that. But yeah, I was talking about like the larger picture, like what do you feel that is your purpose? How do you want to contribute to the world to function better, for the people to feel better? For example, my driver was that it's so sad to me how much burnout I've seen in my friends and in my colleagues, and I was almost there myself, but I think that because I had seen so many around me go through that, I noticed myself when I was going too far, and I was going towards the burnout. So that was a pause for me. And I was like, where does it come from? And it's like people want to do well. They're so dedicated. And like this client today said that she was doing 150% all the time and burned out because she wanted to deliver. And sometimes it can be a little vague if there's not that clear KPIs, for example, what you should deliver and when. A lot of people go above and beyond when it's done too much. So, and especially many people not being excited or engaged in their work. So I want to turn that around. I want to see most people being excited. Now it's about 85 to 90% around the world who are not excited or engaged in their work, which I think is super sad. It's just sad. So I'm here to contribute to that. How can I help people to be excited about what they do? So now we are creating the list. What is it that you want? What are your priorities? What are your values? What is your bigger purpose, the transformation, change you want to see in people? Today, the client was saying, for example, to bring joy, have something useful for people to bring joy and happiness and evoke those emotions in a sustainable way. Okay. I want to move on to the next one, and then also have some time for your questions if you have those for me as well here on Zoom or there on Instagram Live. So I'll put those in. Secondly, when you know what you want, it's about negotiating and setting those boundaries for yourself. So when you know what is the ideal for you, what you would be looking for. For example, for one of my clients who was working 5 days a week, the 9 to 5, and she wanted to start building her own business on the side. She wanted to negotiate to reduce to 4 days a week, so that the Fridays she's dedicating to building her business and having her own clients. So this is like when she knew what's her vision, what she wants, then she could take that to negotiate with her supervisor and get that done. That's one example. If you're in a working relationship with a company, how you can do that to negotiate. Another example is my husband, for example, was taking a break, and he was contacted, and he got an offer, and he was like, well, he doesn't need to take it. It was an interesting job and a good offer. So he was thinking like, okay, what would make him want to take that offer? What would suit him? And knowing what he wanted, he negotiated actually more flexibility. So that was back then 80% remote. I think the first offer was like 60% remote, so he negotiated to 80% remote contract, so that then we were designing our lifestyle so that we were 2 months at a time in one place, whether it was in Belgrade or Athens, Oaxaca or Buenos Aires, and then he was visiting the office every 2 months for 2 weeks. That's one example of negotiating, having more location freedom. The first was kind of time freedom, how to negotiate less time to build your business on the side. This is an example how to add location freedom to have that remote option. Now he's working 100% remotely, so that's what he wanted, and what works for our lifestyle is to now just choose where we want to stay. Like I mentioned, this North Italy is beautiful. I can recommend this for everyone, and it's quite affordable here in Torino. So negotiating. But this is not only negotiating with your supervisors, it's also the negotiation with you. So, like I mentioned, it's also about setting those boundaries for yourself. Like I mentioned, burnout is very common, sadly. So how can you also get more time for your other priorities? How you negotiate with yourself, like, okay, what is your work time? I'm my own boss. So I'm thinking like, okay, how much do I work and when do I work? Because I have clients around the world, mostly within Europe and US. So there might be a 10-hour difference, for example, where between the clients, but it doesn't mean that I need to be available for all those 10 hours. My calendar for my clients to book sessions with me is in the middle. So that's how I, for example, put those boundaries, how I'm available and how I'm also being available for my clients. So what works for them and for me. So finding a combination with that. So first, negotiate with yourself when you know what you want and what works for you, what are your needs, where you can find those places for resting and those other interests. For example, we love tango, and there's great tango here in Torino as well. So how am I designing my work day so that we can go dance in the evening? So negotiation with yourself, with your supervisor if you're working for someone, but especially the negotiation with yourself, especially when you're starting or running your own business. What does it look like? How many hours do you want to work? How does it look like? And especially because from the beginning, I've been my tech support and sales and marketing and doing the coaching and the client support and doing everything. So for me, it was also finding that support with automatizations and with the tech, for example, to help me. I've also past events I've been hosting with other entrepreneurs, other coaches. So how we can then divide our task to be more effective. I also love working with others, so that works for me for accountability as well to deliver. So that's an example. I'm happy to share more thoughts on that. But I want to move on to the business side, especially when you're being your own boss. And I mean, self-leadership skills are important in any job, but especially when you're being your own boss, that's really crucial, like I said, for you not to burn out, how you can use your time effectively, how you can have that time for also your interest, for resting, for your relationships. Sadly, too often entrepreneurs also maybe neglect their well-being and their important relationships. So I myself want to make sure that I have time with my husband. What are those moments during the day? We are cooking lunch and dinner together, for example. We are just doing grocery shopping together and taking a walk, because here in Italy you can just walk to the grocery stores. And we exercise together like a few times a week, not every time together, because he wants to do boxing, which is not my thing. So when he goes to the gym, but and what we like, which is just very easy, but to relax, he makes the best popcorn in the world, so that's my favorite snack. We have some popcorn and Netflix during the evening. And if you saw some pictures and stories about our weekend vacation, so we do these city getaways, for example, wherever we are. This works for us because we are combining remote working to vacationing all the time, because we are like 1 to 3 months at a time in a new place. So we get to explore the city, be the tourist there for a few months. We have our everyday living, like I mentioned, doing the groceries and workouts and all that interest. But we also get to explore the city and to go around. And so I feel like this has been the best way, best lifestyle. What I call freedom lifestyle is to combine these two together. Actually, I did see a survey that said that people who live like this, that they are having these like vacationing all the time, are happier. So you're not living for like one vacation a year, for example, but how you can have this kind of like holiday. And I'll answer your questions and help you with that, how to make it happen. I actually do have a new 90-day program which started today, or I launched it today, so that I help you to launch your freedom lifestyle. So how you can have that time, freedom, location, flexibility, and financial abundance in your life. So being in charge of all the 3 aspects so that you can live the life that you want. But yeah, back to the third, being your own boss. And it's really about the self-leadership, like I said, to be clear on your needs and boundaries, what you negotiate, and sticking with that. Boundaries are very easy to maybe, let me say it in a different way. It's harder to build them than to break them. So how you can respect your needs and your priorities and your boundaries. I know I'm not the best at that. I feel like I'm better when I work with my clients, when I'm better at helping my clients to do that. So I definitely know that I have a room to grow in this area, because it's easy for me to be a little too flexible sometimes with my boundaries, or not being clear on my needs. It's harder for me to also negotiate with others what to do. And that's been always in my life, and now being in a leadership training this spring really brought it up. I noticed like how difficult it is for me to say my opinion out loud, and I'm practicing that because my voice matters. your voice matters. So how you can take ownership of those priorities and needs and really respect them. Oh, I forgot my coffee is, well, it's a tea moment, but I forgot my coffee. Hopefully it's not too cold yet. Yeah, I gotta bring a tea or coffee to this Thursday tea gathering. Anyway, do you have some questions around the leadership? Because it's easy to say like, hey, just own it, or just do it like Nike says, but it combines so many things. But once you have the clarity and a vision for your life, for your business, for your career, what does it look like? And especially for the time and location of financial freedom, then from that clarity, it brings certainty and courage. You feel more confident, like trusting yourself, those needs and priorities, and making them happen, sticking to that, sticking to setting and respecting your boundaries and what you say, and owning. I think it's really about owning the lifestyle that you want to have and how can you make it happen. But I do want to encourage, and this is like I also read in my studies, that it used to be so that the work was dictating kind of like how you design your lifestyle. Nowadays, we have so many different combinations. I told you a few examples already, like what can it look like from working less hours and having a multiple source of income, having that remote flexibility, especially for us like digital nomads, online entrepreneurs. The world is really open. I know you must be thinking like, okay, how am I doing that? Well, I started this with a new mortgage. So it took some planning for me to move from my home country to rent out my apartment, to empty it from my stuff and rent it out so that I can still have the investment. I knew it was an investment, though I was making a home for myself and fully renovating the apartment. But for me, it was also noticing like home can be different than a physical place. So home for me nowadays is the emotional space where I feel like home and with whom. So for example, I know being with my husband, we can go anywhere and I feel like home because it's in his arms. My home where I feel safe, I feel good. I get to do what I love online, networking with all of you around the world. So I'm now finally owning the lifestyle that I couldn't even imagine myself having. But now we are just creating what we want. And I do want to encourage you to do the same. I hear so often my friends or my clients say like, I want to have the lifestyle like you. And I'm just like, well, go do it. I know it's not that easy. It took me a year to plan it all out. And because I was so confused, I was so stressed out, I felt so lonely making my own plans. I want to help you to make all those decisions and changes and transitions with joy and ease. So you'll get all my best advice here at the Thursday tea gatherings. And like I mentioned, I have the new 90-day program, how you can pivot in your career to launch your online business in 90 days. Why 90 days? Well, it's possible. If you already have a business, but you feel like you want to grow that, to have more of that time, location, and financial freedom, this program is also for you to leverage that. So you can email me, you can drop me a message, or we'll set a time to see if this would be something useful for you. We cover all the areas for you to launch an online business or a service business, and to leverage that. So that's available if you want to have a clear vision, a strategy, an audience, and also have a plan and services to launch. So if we start now, you have already launched your services in August, and you can start signing up new clients. So within the 3 months, this is not an income claim, but you will get clients, and you multiply the return on that investment that you make do for this program. So let me know if that's interesting to you. My sole purpose is that you get to enjoy that time and location and financial freedom in your life, to activate that freedom lifestyle, what I call freedom lifestyle, and we'll see what works for you. I only gave a fraction, like just a few examples here, what it can look like, but we all have our own situations. We have our own priorities and needs and where we come from. So we'll discover that combination for you. So do we have some questions? Let me pause the recording for now. I hope you enjoy this these 3 very largely explained combinations of what you want to negotiate with yourself and others involved, and how you step into your leadership, how you're owning the lifestyle that you want to have. So let me know your thoughts on these. What did you learn? What do you want to implement in your life and focus on more? What's maybe the area that you would like some support with? Like I said, it's for me to own and respect those boundaries that I have, for example. And that's a constant journey that we are on, because we grow all the time. So that's it for this week. Let me just say hi to the Instagram. See you next time. And Zoom, do we have some questions? Dina-san, do you have some questions, or Alan, that you would like to share, some comments or ask? Happy to hear to support.
Kaisa, I have no, everything I heard was useful as usually. I'm sorry I was busy and couldn't join your previous sessions, but from now I will do my best to follow all information you share with us. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. It was a pleasure having you here, because I know that it's later for you out there. We meet Thursdays at the same time using the same link. So hopefully you get to join us next week as well.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. And thank you, everyone. And if you're watching the replay, do share your comments below. And I'll see you next time.